What are the two most important questions your ads need to answer? That's what we're talking about today on Better Dealerships.
Are your ads driving traffic or just driving you crazy? The secret to getting customers through the door might be as simple as answering these two questions. Plus, we'll be covering more news, views, tips, and strategies to help you sell more cars.
Hey, I'm Travis Miller.
And I'm Jimmy V.
And this is the show that helps you build a better dealership.
Automakers push toward subscription-based features. What does this mean for dealerships?
Yeah, manufacturers are increasingly offering subscription services for features like heated seats and advanced driver assistance systems, which changes how customers interact with their vehicles. What do you think about this, Jim?
Well, I've seen this going on. I've seen different types of subscription-based services in my own vehicles. And we are big fans of subscription-based business models. We love them. I think that they're incredibly intelligent. I think they're hugely valuable for the owners of any business. We have them in our own business. So I think this is a good idea. Now, these are the automakers' subscription-based business features. So how can it affect a dealership? It might affect the dealership negatively because some people might be annoyed that they have to pay a subscription for a heated seat. But I would encourage dealers to start thinking about how they can offer subscription-based features that benefit the dealership and the dealership's customers. Because if you can create something that's valuable enough, you can create a reoccurring line of revenue that you put in the bank without doing a single thing, just by opening the door every day. And that would be enormously valuable.
Yeah. I think the OEMs are working on ways to include the dealerships in the revenue streams from those subscription, businesses, which I think is fair and good. But certainly, so it could create extra revenue for dealerships. But like you said, it's going to be a balance. Like, is the juice worth the squeeze? Is the extra revenue worth the frustration that it'll cause the customer? This makes me think of like the ultra low cost airline models, like Frontier Airlines or Spirit Airlines or Breeze or Allegiant. And, a lot of them get bad raps. And, I've certainly had my fair share of frustrations with them in the past. But, I fly on Frontier very frequently and have come to actually really appreciate the business model, because what I understand, like the criticism is that they hit you with all these upcharges, like every single extra thing you want, you have to pay for, which is true. But you can often buy a plane ticket for $19 on top of the taxes. And so if all you want to do is get from point A to point B, you can do so very cheaply. If you don't intend to use the extra services that they're selling, then you don't have to pay for them, which I think is very fair. And so, like, for instance, in Florida, there are probably a lot of people in Florida who don't, that's, where we're from. A lot of people in Florida don't want to pay for heated seats. They don't need heated seats. And so they certainly wouldn't want to pay for them. And might they be annoyed? I don't know, but maybe they should be more annoyed that the people in Florida and other warm climates have to subsidize the cost of heated seats in other vehicles because they paid for it when they bought their vehicle, as opposed to not paying for it when they buy their vehicle. Like, it's there, but they didn't pay for it and they didn't take the subscription.
Now, I think it's important to understand, if you're going to charge a reoccurring fee for something, that the thing has to be valuable. I think the problem with something like a heated seat is that it's in a car operational already. Like, you're not getting something extra every single month that you're paying, right? It's in the car. Mm-hmm. Like, so you have to, and it's been in cars in the past without a monthly fee. Mm-hmm. So I think you got to be strategic about these monthly fees if you're going to attempt to get them from the customer. Otherwise, you could find yourself in a situation where there's backlash. Yeah. But more power to them. I love the idea for both dealers and automakers, and really any business.
Well, look, I think the big takeaway, dealerships need to stay informed on which features are transitioning to subscriptions and how to navigate these changes to maintain the strong relationships with the customers that are so valuable to their business. Good luck. All right, Better Dealerships Nation, it's that time of the show where we share a better resource that can help you solve those problems that are nagging you in your life and in your business, make things more ESP, enjoyable, simple, and prosperous. Hey, are you tired of losing track of dealer plates or Worse, the cars that have the dealer plates on them.
Maybe even keys. You can use Apple AirTags.
Yeah, this is a pretty simple idea. I don't really consider it earth-shattering, but I wonder how many people have thought about this. Take an Apple AirTag or a Tile or some other GPS tracking device and tape it or glue it to the back of the dealer plates. That way, if you're ever missing a dealer plate, well, you can go into the Find My app on an Apple product and find it. If you're ever missing a car that has a dealer plate on it, you can do the same thing. And you can quickly just keep track of your inventory of plates and vehicles. This is I know there are services that do this in a similar way, but for, between $20 to $30 per plate, this is a pretty low cost solution to what can be a real costly problem.
Well, and if you have anything that's miscellaneous that you don't already have some service for, this is a great strategy for tagging it and finding it when it goes missing. These things are quite useful, and I don't think that business owners think about how they can use technology and tools like this to help solve minor and sometimes major problems in their business. Hey, Travis, one of the biggest, best discoveries I think I've ever made in my life was when I discovered how much value is buried in other people's writing, in books, essentially, which is why we have in every episode this section, Better Books. Mm-hmm. T, what is the book that we're going to be talking about today?
The better book today, one of my all-time faves, really. Honestly, this book has changed the course of my entire life and our business, and honestly, the course of many other businesses too. It's had that dramatic of an impact. The book is called Start With Why by Simon Sinek.
Yeah, when you say it's changed the lives of countless business owners that we've worked with, that is absolutely true, both in the small business, medium-sized business space, SMB space, as they say, and in the dealership space. We have taught countless dealerships the concept of Start With Why by Simon Sinek and have helped them discover their why and how to take their why and use it as a differentiating position for their dealership.
Well, and how appropriate. We were just talking about why should somebody choose you? Why should somebody choose your dealership over others? Well, that why, that's the start. That's the idea behind this book, that the starting point of all of your business-oriented thinking should be why, which is, why do we do what we do? What is our purpose? What is our primary value?
Why is it important? Why should other people care? Right? Why do we care? Why should they care? Hopefully, these whys are aligned. Why we do what we do and why we care and why you should care or should all be connected. And if they are, that's where the magic starts to happen. There's a reason why the first question your marketing has to answer is why choose you. And this book is about starting with the why. And so there's some magic in the synergy here, ladies and gents. So I highly recommend that you pick up a copy of this book as fast as you can. It's not a new book now. I remember when it was new and it was revolutionary. It's not new now. And a lot of people talk about why, but this is where it all comes from in the modern age.
Yeah. There's another element to this too, which is culture. Not the topic of our episode today, but it will be a topic in an episode soon. Culture is one of the key secret drivers that really separates better dealerships from all the other dealerships. It's that they have a better culture in the organization. And when you
makes them a better dealership.
Right. When you get the why right? When you get the why right, not only does it make the customers more attracted to you, it makes your employees more attracted to you. And as Jim mentioned, the why should be the same. The why for the employees should be the same why as for the customers, which is the same why for you. So as an example, for us in our business, our why is very simple. We believe that life and business should be ESP, enjoyable, simple, and prosperous. We believe that for our employees, and they believe it with us. We believe that for our clients, and they believe it with us. Every decision we make, every move we make is designed around serving that core purpose, right? The reason we create this show, the Better Dealership Show, is because we believe it can help dealerships and the people who work in them have a more ESP life, for life and business to be more enjoyable, simple, and prosperous. We believe that. We know it's true.
Right. And when we help our dealer clients implement a why strategy and create more ESP in their business and life, what happens is that it trickles down to even their employees. When their mindset changes and their culture changes as a result of us working together as partners, their lives become more ESP, their employees' lives become more ESP, and then ultimately their customers' lives become more ESP due to what they do and how they do what they do differently because of all the strategies of us that we deliver while working together. So this is kind of some people might say trickle-down effect, but we really like to think of it more like an atomic effect, where it starts small but then grows exponentially as it expands and as it reaches more and more people. And we have seen that absolutely directly happen as we work with dealerships across the country, across the U.S., across the globe, actually. We've seen ESP expand and become so much bigger and so much more powerful over the years. It's really been quite a rewarding journey.
Hey guys, if you're enjoying this episode, just a quick reminder, press the like button and subscribe to the channel for useful tips, and turn on your notifications so you never miss a future episode.
And if you have a friend in the business, I know you do, be a thought leader. Send this to them. We'd really appreciate it, and so would they.
What are the two most important questions your ads need to answer? It's the burning question today. The burning question, Jim, is the burning question is, what are the two questions? Is that
one
like
question that leads to two questions?
Yeah, it's answering with a question with a question? Answering a question with two questions?
That's even worse, I guess.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
But these questions, Travis, are extremely important if you want your ads to truly do the heavy lifting and drive customers into the dealership.
That's right. And, we have in our career certainly analyzed tens of thousands of automotive ads. I mean, that's what we do for a living. And we've seen a lot of stinkers. And the worst part about it is that, most of them don't even work. That's the worst part. Like, that's why advertising gets a really bad rap, because dealerships, lots of businesses, but dealerships do a lot of advertising that doesn't really work. Or like the old saying goes, half my advertising is wasted. The problem is I don't know which half. Right. It's frustrating when you see so much advertising not working. And when you look at it and you realize there's a very simple explanation for why that advertising doesn't work. Right.
Right. If you're not answering these two questions in your advertising, it's probably like all the advertising isn't working. You're just getting half of it looks like it's working, and you're just getting blue sky traffic.
Yeah, really. Yeah, because when advertising really works, you there's no question about it. You know it. Like there's this rapid lift, this rapid ascent of results that occurs when you aren't doing it, then you start doing it. Like it's very noticeable.
Yeah. It's a sea change. It's a tidal wave, right? That's the way it should be if done right. So let's dive into the questions. I mean, because these questions are important.
Yeah. First question. You want to reveal it? The big
Sure.
reveal, Jim?
The big reveal, Travis. The first question your advertising needs to answer if you want it to drive strong traffic sustainably is, why should someone choose you? Why should they choose you over all the other competitors in the marketplace? Why should they choose you as the go-to dealership in town? Now, here's the thing. A lot of dealerships and marketing people, because it's not just dealers who suffer from bad answers to these questions. I mean, marketing people are notorious for answering these questions in a poor manner. But the reality of it is, you need to answer these questions in a way that not only differentiates your dealership from the competition, but also in the best interest of the customers. So based on what's the customer's interest, not your own interest, right? And often we try to say things that make us different, but they're not things that the customers really care about.
Yeah. I was just thinking that over the years that we've asked hundreds of people this question about their dealerships. Like, so I'm curious, why should customers choose you over another option? And I could count the number of times on a single hand that we've gotten good answers to this question. The typical answers are, which is, I guess this is where you were just going with it. The typical answers, are very cliche things. Oh, we've got great service. So we've been in business for, 65 years. We're a family-owned business. We've got great selection. These things that immediately come to mind.
Yeah.
But the problem is the problem with the things that immediately come to mind is that they not only immediately come to your mind, but they immediately come to everybody else's mind too. And so they're not meaningful. They don't stand out in any particular way to make you seem special, or it's not a compelling reason for somebody to choose you.
Right. And on top of that, you have to understand that customers that you're trying to attract, especially through advertising, are at different places in the buying cycle, right? And so when you're advertising broadly and you don't know who you're specifically talking to, your selection and how long you've been in business only matter to people as a logical push over the edge when they're in the actual buying decision. Like they're that close to making the buying choice. But when you're just in the kind of like, well, I'm thinking about buying a car, but I'm not really sure if now's the right time, which is a great prospect to have. That's really the prospect you want to bring into the dealership.
So the sleeping buyers.
Your selection, those are the sleeping buyers. Those are your first party leads. Those people are not going to be pushed over by how many years you've been in business. It's not a benefit oriented differentiator, and it's not meaningful to the customer where they are in the buying cycle. It's barely valuable to them at the very end. Yeah. So these things are just not unique enough. They're not strong enough, and they're not benefit oriented enough to push people into the dealership.
Yeah, and despite the answers, the thousands of, or hundreds, I don't know, hundreds, thousands, many bad answers we've got to these questions, the reality is even worse, because the pathetic answers that people have given us aren't even actually making their way into most ads.
No, and that's the funny part.
Most ads, the only reason that a customer would choose you over your competitors is because you have this car at this price, right? And like, you might as well be selling, liner, birdcage liner. Like if someone's buying birdcage liner, you absolutely would like to buy it at the lowest price. I've got 5 parakeets at home, and I can tell you do not want to overpay for birdcage liner, right? Because it's just all the same. But that's the problem. Like, there's a sea of sameness in dealership marketing these days. It's basically like, hey, we're all the same. We've got cars, we've got prices, we got, there's a tower where guys, serious looking guys sit and bang on adding machines, and there's a room in the back where you go and fill out paperwork, and the whole thing takes too long. And for the most part, it's just all the same. Like, but the idea of being a better dealership is a much bigger idea than that. It's like, we don't have to be locked into that box. We don't have to be confined to, well, really, the reason people choose us is because we have this car at that price. Like, that's fine. But I would hope that there are at least a few other reasons that people might choose to do business with you than just that you have this car at that price.
Yes. And one of our big core points and tenets here at Better Dealerships at Rich Dealers is that we are not in the auto manufacturing business, but we're in the auto dealership business. And a dealership is a local service business, not a local product business or retailing business. And when you think about yourself as a service business, then the types and reasons why you are different become dramatically put into a different sphere.
Yeah.
And you can then find what is unique about you from a service-based perspective. And even saying this, that you are a service business rather than a product business, is in and of itself, in most cases, a substantial differentiator.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that's question one. We could do a 2-day seminar just on that single question, and it would behoove you to spend months working on the answers to that question.
Yeah.
But we have 2 questions, and we've got limited time, so let's jump into the second question, which, Travis, as you know, is why should someone choose you right now? So we've got why choose you in general, right? And then why choose you right now. Talk about why this question is so important, Travis.
They both have to be present. You've got to create urgency in the process, because the role of tier 3 advertising, which is what we're all engaged in here, is to motivate buyers through time and space. Okay. And that's, if you think about it, that's what these 2 questions represent, is time and space, right? We want to convince buyers to buy here, not somewhere else. And we want to convince them to buy now, not later. Okay. And
maybe in the opposite order. We want them to buy now, and we want them to buy here.
Yeah, right. And so the way that the time element of this pivots on the urgency axis, essentially. Okay. If there's no compelling reason to act right now versus a little bit later, then really most people will pretty much just choose later, because it's a lot easier, a lot more convenient. And look, maybe for them that's fine, but that's not really fine for you, because you need people to buy right now. You got to find somebody to buy today. And you got to find a whole bunch of somebodies to buy this month. And the good news is that this market turns over constantly, both as a result of people trading and selling cars, whatever, breaking down, needing service, families changing, new people entering the market. So there's a constant moving parade of customers, and essentially a limitless pool that you can draw from in any metropolitan area in the United States. Be honest, we even have worked for more than 10 years with a dealership in Pilot Mountain, North Carolina, which is the town where the Andy Griffith show took place. And that's a real small town, and he don't run out of customers, right? And maybe that's a topic for a different day. The point is that you have this nearly limitless pool of customers to draw from, but it's of no value to you if they all wait until later to buy. You really need them to operate on your time frame, not on their time frame, if you want to pick up the pace and really gain some momentum. And of course, in a respectful way. I'm not suggesting operate on I'm not suggesting to violate their timeline. I'm just, you want to nudge them and urge them to do it now rather than later, and that will benefit everybody here.
Well, this is the problem with traditional automotive marketing and the mindset that goes with it today, which is that we all compete for the now buyers, right? The people that are searching this weekend for a vehicle. And these are the intenders. Everybody's going after the intenders. If you're on Google advertising, you're typically advertising for people actively searching for a vehicle right now. And those are the people that have already made the decision on their own to become buyers. And you're going to try to get those people to come to your store versus go to a different store. And that is why you are fighting over a very small, maybe 2% of the market that's actively shopping at any given time. And this weekend, that 2% might even be much smaller than that.
Yep.
And now you're getting a sliver of a sliver. And that, if you're consistently relying on that approach, your traffic and your sales are going to be minimal, and you're going to be fiercely competing with other dealerships who are also fighting for that sliver. And if they're larger or have better marketing or have more marketing or have cheaper prices, you're going to lose out to those dealers. And your sliver is going to get smaller and smaller and smaller based on all of the disadvantages that your dealership has and based on the advantages of other dealers in the market.
This is what keeps most small dealerships small. And by the way, this is a feature, not a bug. It's designed to work this way.
Right. But there is a way to combat that. If you answer these questions properly, you can expand your market, you can expand your universe, you can push new buyers into the market that think and know that you are the only and obvious choice in the market. This, like I said, is a massive conversation. We just wanted to kind of give you the tip of the iceberg. I think we've done that plus. And so I hope you have found value in these 2 questions, because they are really the foundation of strong, lead generation in the automotive space.
Hey, and let us know in the comments, why should somebody choose your dealership over the alternatives? We'd love to hear about it.
Hey, we'd love to hear your thoughts on what we're talking about here. Let us know in the comments what you think the most important question your ads answer.
Yeah, we look forward to hearing from you. Let's continue the conversation. Head on over to betterdealerships.com and join our Facebook group. It is the best way to stay connected with us and with all the other dealerships in the Better Dealerships universe.